What is up, Rad Potential YouTube, and welcome to today's video. I'm Mr. Rad, and I'm trying to be super excited about the results from taking the hybrid Bridgeport yellow RX-8 with a 5-into-1 header to the dyno and effectively setting the lowest horsepower record that Ernie's dyno has ever seen. So I basically came back to the shop, and literally we are sitting on my drawing board because we got to go back to the drawing board on trying to figure out a way to make 200 horse puppies out of a stock or somewhat of a not swapped crazy deal on a Renesis. I really don't want to, like, let's just look at the drawing board to tell you all the things that I don't want to do. Drawing board, right? So we've got, you know, LFX V6, 12A full Bridgeport, we can do that. K series, that one's for you, Ben, Gears and Gasoline. Renesis Turbo, LSV8, EcoBoost 4-cylinder, Ecotech 4-cylinder. I really like the EcoBoost 4-cylinders. Chelsea Denopa has one in his Fox Body Mustang. He's got it all wicked up. I would probably just run, like, you know, in this chassis, 300 horsepower, 350 horsepower would be a hoot. It would be amazing. So I would love to kind of just, you know, it's a neat engine that's not like overly played out. Hybrid NA, I crossed off the drawing board, and I have hybrid turbo still on the drawing board. So, you know, I read some of the comments on the previous video, guys. I know that I am definitely not a super pro scientist whenever it comes to knowing how every single utterance of exhaust flow works on, you know, this hybrid Renesis thing. I had an idea, the idea didn't work, and that's part of life. Sometimes things don't work out, and it is what it is. He didn't necessarily waste any time. Just like Thomas Edison designed, whatever, a couple thousand light bulbs before the first one turned on. We just figured out a way how not to make 200 horsepower with a Renesis engine. So what I have learned, though, through this process is that this is not the way to do it. So we're going to try something else. So something that I did not put on the drawing board, because I don't necessarily think this deserves a whole spot on the drawing board, because it's, you know, we're still going to, the hybrid NA, not the move. We're not saying hybrid NA, period. Okay, back to what we're doing. Is that I wanted to try just a regular old 13B header on this. So I've got this old racing beat header. I think it came off of Charles's rotary truck from a long time ago. It's cracked. I might just MIG weld it back up for the video. It's obviously, you know, a truck header, so it sits really low. So it's gonna hang under the car. Hopefully it clears the ground. But in this video, we're gonna try to put this on here and see if it works. If at a minimum, all we're gonna do is take the hybrid engine out, and then I will tell you what my actual plan is to try to make 200 horsepower to this deal, because, well, 108 horsepower just isn't gonna cut it. This thing would for sure get gapped by myself, Mr. Rad, on his bicycle, pedaling, not an e-bike. We don't cheat around here. Pedal bicycle. So let's take the hybrid header off for the last time and see if we can't fit this on there, and hopefully it does something cool, I guess. I don't know. We're gonna block off the Renesis ports with some sort of piece of plate steel. I might just whip something up in the plasma table really quick to block off the outer ports, and then we'll see what happens. So who knows? Not too stoked, but it's a learning experience, guys. Everything's learning. I love sharing this information with you, and I love seeing the guys' comments. So keep commenting on either how good we're doing or how bad we're doing, because I want to know so we can keep doing. That's the goal. Just keep going. We got to keep moving forward, keep learning stuff. If things break, they break. If things don't break, we have success and we keep going. Just little steps at a time. So let's see if this fits. This is literally the only header I have laying around that I'm willing to sacrifice for this. So if it doesn't fit, well then, on to the next one. Duly noted, the hood hits my light fixture whenever I have the car this far forward. This thing was so cool. It looks so cool up there. All of its tubes and stuff. Tubes. But we're just not hitting. It's just not making power. You know, we can see like this one obviously had some heat in it. That one had some heat in it. So That's a front runner. Here's the other center port, which it's actually a different pipe, so it like a different brand of material, so the material's a different color. It didn't discolor like that one did. Not too much heat though in the stainless for the center port, or even right here where it's turning, you know, so that's an interesting situation. Yeah, slight water leak from the front, which we noticed. Sorry to Ernie's floor, and it looks like I have an oil leak. Probably, maybe the rear main, because I don't know if I put a new rear main in the steel. I think I just reused one that I had laying around. But yeah, one of the prettiest things, kind of cool, neat seeing. Reminds me of the 4-rotor, but it's junk. What, lady, you coming to say hi while I take my hybrid engine out of my car? Huh? You want to do this for me? You want to do this for me? It sucks, because I could lift the car up and like support the engine on one of those twisty screw jack things, but then I can't move the engine over to get the header out of the way, so I got to lay on the ground under my car lift. You know? Yeah, you just come sit in my lap. Can you pull on this pry bar while I take this engine mount out? Come on, chill. So I got to lift the engine up, kinda undo this engine mount thing so I can get the stock engine mount out. It's a nice win. Had to make some spacers on it, get everything fit. Spacers is a technical term for a stack of washers, just so you know. Call this the floor worm. It's what I've been doing for the last 6 years working on cars, you know, crawling on the ground and crawling under my car lift. I should bring my bicycle to the dyno. I don't know that I could put my bike on a hub dyno per se, but it would be fun to see how much horsepower and torque I can get on my bicycle, even though it's definitely not even going to compare to what this engine can put out, but it would still be fun. You just let this, ow, drop a nut right on my face. Just let that hang right there. Actually kind of hurt. 14 mil nut. Terminal velocity is probably not achieved in 2.5 feet, but still hit my head and it hurt pretty bad. Give this a few tugs. But back to my story. I got this wrench stuck in here because I decided to use the box end of the wrench on a nut that gets stuck when you use the box end of the wrench. So I now have to walk this off with the header and hope that I can get the wrench out of this hole, because I don't have reversible box end wrenches, so my wrench would have been stuck on here, and I'm just gonna keep saying wrench, even though I don't have a good meme for wrench. Somebody tag, no more nuts on my face either. Somebody tag a good wrench meme while I remove the tubes from the car. Oh, reflex is like a cat. What was that? Can you guys give me some tips on how to remove this? I struggle every single time. Engine up or down? Will the header fit? The other one. Not that one. Son of gun. It no work. Oh, there's no shot. Dang it. All right, this is a sad day. The header hangs down way too low right here. It's definitely gonna hit the ground whenever I drive the car. It would fit on the engine if I probably just dented the firewall a little bit. So for all y'all hybrid people out there who still wanna try to make this work, you could probably just do it with a header. Here's the other thing that we gotta comment on here, because this is a major turning point in this video, guys. Major turning point. The fact that that doesn't work. Now, I know y'all could be like, why don't you just build a whole new header? And why don't I just build a whole new header? Because here's the deal. Okay, this hybrid header, you guys have seen it. I'm super proud of this. Like, regardless of the horsepower that this didn't make, I am super proud of my header. I think it looks really sweet. It obviously didn't perform, or something in this conglomeration of parts didn't perform. We're gonna compression test this engine also here in a second, so stay tuned, because at the end of the video we'll depression test my depressing motor. But I'm super proud of this header. I think it came out really nicely. Obviously, we packed a whole lot, including an extra stud, into a very small space and made things work. And this was a great lesson for me as far as learning how to fabricate things and just like, you know, getting a little bit better of a handle on how all of the tubes go together. So anyways, that's the header thing. So let's do a compression test and see how healthy this engine is. Ideally, we did not hurt the housings. Maybe we warped the apex seals, which could be why we're not making that much power. However, we got to test it so we can know. How many times in a week can I engine hoist my RX-8 engine? Too many. I feel like most people would stand under their car on the lift, but I'm just so accustomed to being on the ground with cars on jack stands. This just feels more at home to me. I'll keep a close eye on that for me. Please be compression, not depression. All right. Well, guys, that makes me feel good. At least there's a good end to this video. There's always good stuff in the shop. Nothing. How did my Sharpie? Look at that. How did my Sharpie end up right there? Pulled it right out of the pocket. Love it when Hawaiian shirts have pockets. All right, guys, here's the numbers for the rear rotor. Put you all in a place so you can see my reaction here. So, PSI, 90, 90, 86. Pumped. That's the corrected value. For the uncorrected, we are 92, 92, 89 at 270 RPM. Gotta love that high torque starter. And we're at 6.3, 6.3, and 6.0 for your bar. So above, or I guess close to the minimum, but still within spec for a Mazda rebuild. This engine does only have 200 miles on it or so. So like 178 miles plus what we did at the dyno. So it's not even broken in. Normally you're going to see, especially with aftermarket harder apex seals, we'll see probably 4 or 5, maybe 4 PSI come up as you break your engine in. Like we talked about in the dyno video, you'll see them idle, low, vacuum, and then as they rev up, as you drive them more, the vacuum is going to increase to some percentage. But I don't think that's so much of a horsepower increase as much as it is just like engine health. But rear rotor says this engine's healthy. Let's check the front one. '84, 90, 87, corrected 85, 91, 82, 5.9, 6.3, 6.1 are the BAR corrected. So I'm not one to say that this engine is unhealthy or blown up, but it's definitely not, you know, the healthiest 110 PSI engine, but it is, like I said, still only has 200 miles on it, so it's not fully broken in yet. It would pick up a little bit more power. It is technically still used housings, so they're basically brand new, but they were used previously, you know, in a different GSLSE engine, but they were perfectly mint. They didn't have hardly any runtime on it. It was a reman engine that definitely didn't get run a lot. So we're back to the drawing board trying to figure out the options on this thing, except there's one that we can't exactly completely omit that I already omitted, which is hybrid NA. We know the engine's not blown up now, guys, so as you can see, my tone has changed a little bit. I'm mildly more excited than I was at the beginning of taking this thing apart because I know that my engine didn't blow up now. So time and money wasted is not time and money wasted. Super fired up. So I'd gotten this out because this was my backup plan for 200 horsepower right here. So we have a turbo and the old 130 horsepower, 70 PSI compression Renesis from this car. So this is just a stock Renesis. It's been rebuilt. We have no idea what's going on. Effectively a junkyard motor, but I know that turbo Renesis has been done. We can make over 200. So here's what I'm thinking, and I want you guys to decide in the comments below. So we know the engine's got good compression. Why not? We're already here. I know I said earlier I wasn't stoked. I didn't want to build a new header for it. Why not take this header and chop it up and try to make it work? So I'm thinking option 1, y'all drop in the comments. Do you want to see me go ahead and just chop the MSP runners off, so the side port RX-8 runners off of this thing? Maybe we'll start with, we'll just weld the center port closed, run it, take the header off, put it back on, weld the side ports closed, run it, put the header back on, see how it goes. Since we have effectively a control already, the car has fluids in it, although it's dripping coolant, we can just switch the header out and try things. Now, if this works, it's going to take a lot of convincing from you guys to go put this thing on the dyno again, because that's a good commitment of my time to drive all the way to St. Louis to put it on the dyno, bug Ernie, come back. It's a good commitment. So y'all gonna have to like really share these videos, comment on these videos if you guys want to see like header test V2, which is, I think we chop this up a couple times and try. Or honestly, before the compression test, I was pretty much dead set on just yanking that engine out, taking it apart, seeing what's going on the inside, and then putting this engine back in, putting a turbo on it, because I could build a turbo kit really fast for this deal, guys. So I have a flange, you know, I have this flange, I could just chop it off, use the MSP runners only, 3-to-1, done, jam it into a T3, little Garrett turbo, 6, 7, 8 pounds of boost, whatever it ends up being, and we make 207 horsepower, and then we spit massive flames out the back of the RX-8. Like, that would be the goal. So y'all gotta let me know. My whole plan with this build, like from the very beginning, was to try and make 200 horsepower for a fair budget. So like we've always talked about, Mazda RX-8 seats invested. So pairs of RX-8 seats. And I've got like 15 or so pairs of RX-8 seats in this car before we even swap the engine out. So the engine itself, like, you're going to spend a good chunk of money rebuilding any Renesis engine. So, I mean, there's probably 20 pair of seats just in that engine itself. So that's not really a super budget way to get 200 horsepower out of your RX-8, considering it's spending a lot of money. However, a $150 turbo, a weekend of making a manifold, that's an easy way to make 200 horsepower and not spend a ton of money, especially now that we know we can rescale the math on this and we can tune boost on Versatuner. So it's not the most easy thing to do, but it can be done. So we're just gonna maybe pursue that route. But drop in the comments below what you think. Like I said, I just want 200 horsepower RX-8, and I don't want to spend, you know, 10 grand to swap a REW in this thing. Or like the other thing we could do too, and you could comment this as well. I would not be opposed to it. Ben from Gears and Gasoline would love it. Also on my list, K-Series. K-Series. We could do an actual engine swap at some point on it, but like, I just love the rotaries, guys. I love the way they sound. I think it's just what I like. The sound of rotary. Like, K-Series is cool, but then like my nice RX-8 interior might rattle apart because those engines are pretty shaky. Anyways, drop in the comments below. I really want to hear what you guys think. The engine's not blown up. I'm super pumped. I'm willing to modify this more and see how it works. Obviously, it didn't work, so it's junk anyways. It would look cool on my wall of shame testing. But otherwise, yeah, I'm just stoked it's got compression still, guys. Like, whole atmosphere or a change in the shop. Engine has compression, which is typically, it's pretty typical around here that the stuff has compression around here. I usually don't break stuff that often, you know, knock on wood, engine-wise. The cars break, but usually the rotary is pretty reliable. Anyways, hope y'all are learning something. I'm definitely learning something. But let me know in the comments below. Do we modify the header, or do I rip the engine out and go straight for turbo Renesis? So I'll be paying close attention. Y'all let me know, and then from there we'll decide on what to do. So with that, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm doing regular uploads now, okay? So what that means is every Tuesday and every Friday, we're gonna have a video go up. It's just easier for me. I love having to hit a schedule. 3 videos a week was getting pretty crazy for me to try to do that, just with rally stuff and going out to the Gears and Gasoline thing and helping them and everything. There's always some weird thing that makes one of the videos wacky, but Tuesdays and Fridays, get stoked for that. In addition to, if you're a member of the Patreon, I've been talking about doing some live stream stuff, so drop in the comments below if you would have any interest in watching some sort of an automotive live stream. This would not be me sitting in a shop talking about my cars. This would be most likely some sort of video game simulator plus some shop talk plus some stuff. So I'm working on getting my PC set up out here so we can kind of have some cameras in the shop and make a neat little thing out of it. So let me know also what day you would tune into live streams. So with that, huge thanks to the patrons. Huge thanks to all of you guys for watching the videos. I am going to just be super fired up because my engine has compression now. So yeah, and I'm going to keep researching turbo stuff. So with that, thank you again so much for watching. Keep it rad. We'll see y'all in the next one. Oh yeah, by the way, you know, Eric from the future coming back to finish up a video. Not that I kind of already decided what I'm going to do now that the engine has compression, because I got a little excited. But I tried it without the center port. It wasn't that great. We'll see y'all in the next one.